when we did our invocation this evening, I had you breathe in slowly through the nose, maybe to the count of 4, out through the mouth to the count of 6. That's called vagus nerve breathing or vagal breathing. Interestingly enough, you may know this already, but when you're thinking hard, you actually stop breathing. And this is why when we focus on our work, if we're trying to solve a problem, we get stressed out because we're not breathing regularly. We stop while we're thinking about it. Try it right now. Try to multiply 13 times 26. I guarantee you, you all stop breathing there. So an interesting thing that you may not have thought about, though, is you hold your breath, but watch what happens if you exhale and stop breathing after you've exhaled. You can actually hold a more relaxed state. So we experience stress when we stop breathing on the inhale. Everybody taking a breath, try to multiply 13 times 16, can't do it. Now, just exhale all of it out, relaxing as you do, and just don't breathe in for a moment and just enjoy being in that exhaled state. That's it. I don't want to cause anybody distress, but just notice that if you're stressed, just exhale and pause for a moment. That is a beautiful moment of peace on the exhale. But now I want to teach you another technique. Some of you may have heard me teach this before. It's called conscious sighing. If we don't think about it, you'll actually sigh about 5 times a minute. And it's the body's way of relaxing. But it's also a beautiful tool to use to clear a shock or to clear small little moments of PTSD, if there is such a thing. I learned this trick and I have been asking my guides for the past month, what is the name of the woman that shared it with me? And for some reason, I'm not getting her name. So my apologies to the woman who taught this and did it for me when I needed it. But there were 2 moments that come to my memory right away of moments when I suffered a little trauma. One I told about in my book, Still Right Here, where I came face to face with a rattlesnake 3 feet away, rearing up in front of me on the trail. And I shrieked and I ran and I was traumatized and I did not want to step outside my RV for the ensuing days. It became bad. I could tell I can't go on camping like this if I'm afraid to step outside in the desert. So I reached out to my friend and she taught me the method I'm going to teach you, and it cleared that repetitive loop immediately. The second incident was with my mom, who has since passed. We were eating dinner and she choked on some food. And I literally thought she was going to die in front of me. She didn't have it stuck. We couldn't do the Heimlich. She just kind of aspirated, you know how you suck down a little bit of soup. It was all it was. And we actually called an ambulance. And I thought, this is it. Mom's going to die in front of me right here and now. And then I became hyper vigilant of my mother. I used this same technique and it instantly went away. So the other day, somebody I know, for some reason, as I was interacting with them on Zoom, I said, and what's new with you? It was a business meeting. So it wasn't a time when we were going to be talking personal things, but clearly Spirit said, ask, what's new with you? And she said, well, I'm dealing with a little trauma here. I had an incident in a dog park, and she held up her arms, and one was all bandaged up and one was all bruised. Some little dog jumped in and tripped her up. It wasn't some big dog, some little smaller than my dogs. And as I was hearing the story, Spirit told me to ask, you're experiencing a little PTSD from that, aren't you? And she said, yeah, I'm really off balance ever since it happened several days ago. And I said, we're going to heal you of that right now. So here's the technique for all of you. What happens is when we have a momentary fright, I'm not talking about being in a war zone. That's big stuff. That's why we have counselors and therapists. I'm talking about some fright that you just keep running that loop. Is the old part of your brain, the amygdala, goes on hyper alert. Its job is to protect you. A snake steps in front of you, you're on alert. Your mother almost chokes, you're on alert. A dog trips you up, you're afraid of tripping again. So I'm sure all of us have these kind of moments. When you can't stop it running, we have to quiet down the amygdala. And this breathing technique, which helps anytime you're under stress, conscious sighing is how you do it. So I said to this woman, close your eyes for a second. And you can all do this with me. I said, breathe in nice and deep. Now pause. And without exhaling, breathe in another little bit. And now we're going to talk to the amygdala. Thank you so much as you hold that breath for protecting me the other day or during that moment. I appreciate you, but the danger is past. You can relax now. And now exhale slowly, completely. And that is enough to do it right there, but let's do it one more time. So everybody just breathe in fully. Get to the top of the breath, pause, breathe in some more. And now tell the amygdala again, thank you for protecting me. The danger is past. There is no need to be hypervigilant anymore. Thank you so much. We've got this. And exhale completely. And I said to this woman, let me know how you're doing in a little bit. She emailed me. It was so kind and generous of you to support me today. I'm truly feeling so much better. I had been holding everything in my stomach and was just so anxious since the incident last Friday. My stomach feels completely back to normal, and I had such a better walk this afternoon than I've had since. So there you go. A very simple technique for anybody to use anytime, but you don't have to go have some trauma thing to use it. Try that conscious sighing whenever you feel stressful. I shared this with Ty, and we were on the final leg of our trip here. We took 6 weeks to get here, 2,600 miles. We took our time getting across the country, visiting friends along the way from South Carolina to Idaho, but it was still a lot of driving in our big bus. And we got in a very windy day, rocking the bus around as we're going down the highway. And at the end of the day, my husband was so proud. He said, I practiced the conscious sighing. And he says, and it worked. So I love that. Got the goosebumps there. So share that with your loved ones. Try it throughout the day, anytime you're stressful. Of course, vagus nerve breathing is going to do the same thing, calm you down. But conscious sighing is just a variation on that, which really works wonders. So I love having practical tools like that, huh?